Hello, guys, and welcome back. It's been a while. All of my dear, cherished supporters, I am so glad to be back on the mic, talking to you guys with a very, very special podcast series, Our Little Lambs. And today we're going to focusing on targeted individuals and, of course, the missing lambs, whether it's a hoax or fiction. So we have quite a bit to talk about, guys, and I'm thankful to be back on Can We Talk with You podcast, sponsored by fundraisingcup.org Ministries. It feels really good to be back with you guys on a one-on-one. I know it's been a little while. And I have these one-on-one sessions with you guys when I have really deep and personal messages that I want to get out. And today we're going to find out
Why do I love God?
a lot about whether it's real or fake and who's behind all of these missing children that have been popping up in Virginia last month, as well as a special message to the current targeted individual. So a lot going on. But first, let's dive right into our pertinent scripture reading, of course, which will be taken from Ephesians 5 verses 11 through 14. And that is, and have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them. For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever doth make manifest is light, wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light. Wow. I think that particular scripture is going to be spot on with today's message. And I'm going to start by saying, it appears as though our young people are being recruited very early, at least much earlier than I initially thought, by certain occult and LGBT groups to actually target individuals. And, Auntie Juju keeps her ears and eyes wide open. And I also listen to various testimonies all around the world, as you guys know. But I've also witnessed some untold public stories, and I want to share one of them with you guys today. So let me tell you all a story about a young boy around 17 years of age. He's already part of an occult group that targets individuals, and the young man seemingly was very excited to finally be accepted by a group of males, more than likely molesting him, but nevertheless taking him under his wing, reassuring him that he is now a part of the most diabolical gang he could ever imagine. And he very much wanted to impress this young girl he was dating at the time. And she, by the way, was too immature to pick up on certain red flags of his excess feminine energy brewing. And he tells her he is part of this elite group that allows him to target unsuspecting victims. So she asked him to demonstrate. And she even finds it humorous, not realizing that the biggest joke would be on her once she discovers several things. What are they, Auntie Juju? Well, I'm going to tell you. Number one, what he has given up to become part of this group. I don't think she'll find humorous. And number two, how quick she too can be sacrificed if she no longer wants to be with him. That may come as a huge surprise to her. And number three, how her health will be in constant jeopardy to play these fun games and coverted attacks. And by health, I mean when you are obviously with someone that is, playing both sides, so to speak. If you are not aware that they're playing both sides, your health can and may be in jeopardy because you have no idea of what's going on. But in any case, she foolishly finds entertainment and the false authority in her so-called man alluring the many victims that managed to survive and stood their ground are all shaking their head at her in disbelief, knowing, sweetie child, they've been there, done that, and not just that, they got a free T-shirt when they survived to tell the story. So that's a message from the old targeted individuals to the new ones. So, darling, as cute and entertaining you may find illegal human experimentation and surveilling, trust and believe that you are only one breakup away from becoming a targeted and possibly trafficked individual yourself. Dare I say it. So don't laugh too hard, sweetie, and believe you caught a powerful gem. Remember, he receives counsel and leadership from fellow psychopaths and sociopaths. All he technically has to do is give them some sort of false narrative about you, honey, and you too will be confused, bewildered, and landed on a watch list now trying to be recruited on team Where is Justice for the targeted individuals. Until then, I guess you can keep keying and playing in Satan's kingdom. We hope you wake up in time, because from this viewpoint, you don't appear to have what it takes to make it out on the other side yet. But as a token of, support for unsuspecting women, I will give you a running start, honey, and advise you that many of these down low men and boys are placing women on targeting lists in these occults that become aware of their lifestyle, which is traumatic enough. And furthermore, if you are not interested in joining the female Eastern Star sector and partaking in sexual deviances as well, once you find out, well, welcome to the team. If you are a source of really good feminine energy, a divine woman of God, they will not simply break up and move on. And their fellow occult members will agree to harass, intimidate, and possibly drive women like yourself insane. In doing so, many of these victims were not able to tell their story. And, I'm hoping that that won't be the case for you, young child, coming into contact with individuals like this. And to my God-fearing men out there, don't think you're safe. There are jealous Jezebel bisexual females that are also placing unsuspecting men on these LGBT occult targeting lists. So yes, I would say this has gotten way out of hand. At one point, these so-called brotherhoods and sisterhoods may have told their members that these dark practices that they are engaging in started with good intentions. I guess some sort of street justice, if you will. But I assure you it has now become something far more sinister for this particular group. And they seem to be, it seems to become a targeting practice for unhealed, bullied, and abusive individuals that are hiding in the dark and underground. But our Father, the Most High God, is certainly not pleased with how this group has been operating to date and has now even strategically moved many innocent victims. But I would like to refer to them as the strongest soldiers of God, strategically in places to witness how wicked these people's hearts truly are, as well as the secret pleasures they take in violating people's civil liberties and property. Now, I want you to take a minute and really reflect on those words. Imagine the same group of people claiming they need extra protection, LGBTQ, and I'm sure some additional words I'm not even aware of, are committing hate crimes themselves, covertly attacking heterosexuals at will without limitations. How has this happened? Some may ask. Because many people remained lukewarm when they should have been fighting to protect the next generation. Yes, this rhetoric began to spread like a cancer. Love is love, and what they do in their bedroom has nothing to do with you. But children of God, yes, it does. When we don't take a stand, we fall for everything. And we open hell's gates, all while doing so. In protecting their bedrooms, they in turn don't mind prying into yours on these watch lists. You've given the enemy full range to go against God's natural order and evoke wickedness. And so, while they have made it a hate crime to even condemn their behaviors with scripture, which keep in mind, most of them are ashamed of anyway and hiding from, that they are committing an even greater travesty against mankind that needs to be addressed by both the International Criminal Court and the International Court of Justice. Because all wild, worldly people are being lukewarm and think these individuals and these occults are merely victims themselves and needing protection, they are cultivating, dare I say it, a gang of hackers, home invaders, traffickers, kidnappers, property damagers, privacy invaders that the world is surely not ready for. Because I think we've gotten too comfortable overlooking sin, all in the name of not offending anyone, is bringing on an offense that the average person can only wish we initially stood our spiritual ground. There is sin and there is wickedness. And I assure you this occult group has bypassed sin a long time ago. And don't let them play games with your intellect on loving who they want to love, because that's where we lost our footing in the first place. There's a difference between loving thy neighbor and lusting after thy neighbor. The fine line is leading many heterosexual people into a repeat of Sodom and Gomorrah. And I know that's hard for many people to imagine when you're reading scripture. But the wickedness in these individuals will cause them to not just follow, but also chase people down, just like they did back then, and force an agenda on them, on people's lives. Now, I want to be clear with you all because I speak very freely, largely because I'm not controlled by any particular government or group. I speak to you from the eyes of a Christian woman, the heart of a loving mother, and also through the hurt of those close to me joining these groups and witnessing the extent these groups will go to protect their own and to harness energy and to steal from people. And I think many people have gotten so caught up in the societal norms of not wanting to come across as offensive to any particular person, even if their vice